All right. Before I start this video, let me say that's ridiculous. While we go in, because man, oh man, there is some things flying around about what Canelo Alvarez has turned down in order to not fight Terence Bud Crawford, and also what Canelo Alvarez is willing to do with Errol Spence Jr., but he's not willing to do with Terence Crawford, which is fight at 160 pounds. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're gonna be in Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford land and Errol Spence land, where there are things being said out there that I'm telling you, man, people send me notes about this stuff and they ask me my opinion on it. And as every once in a while, most times I kind of roll my eyes a little bit and say, man, I don't know. I don't think this makes sense. Or, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Or this could be, that could be. This one, 100%, I'm telling you right now, what's the phrase? Poppycock. What do the Irish say? Man, I can't even remember. There's a word that I kind of like an Irish slang word for this, man. And it ain't shenanigans. Man, it is just a bunch of malarkey. That's what it is. Man, it's some malarkey. But we will analyze it and talk about it, and I will explain to you exactly why you can tuck this and sit this down. Also, Canelo Alvarez gets trolled by Terence Crawford about this fight that they're trying to make. Now, that Terence Crawford is trying to make, which I guarantee you, going about it the way he's going about it, you're not going to get it. You got to know your audience, man. Got to know your audience. But before I get into that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. It really means a ton. A ton. Thank you. It's how we're able to do the channel, especially during these times when we don't really have a lot of boxing going on, right? It's kind of the PBC's not there. I think their programming is almost up for the year. I know they got one on November 25th, but other than that, it's going to be kind of slow till the beginning of the year. So thank you for your super thanks. Thank you for your support. But let's get into this, okay? So Canelo Alvarez turns down $500 million. $500 million to fight Terence Crawford. Not $5 million, not $50 million, $500 million to fight Terence Crawford. And Canelo Alvarez is willing to fight Errol Spence Jr. at 160 pounds, but he's not willing to fight Terence Crawford at 160 pounds. That's the topic for discussion, to which the word malarkey applies. First, $500 million. There has never been a boxing match ever that has generated $500 million for a fighter. Never. Okay? Never. In order to generate $500 million, you would have to, for a fighter, you would have to generate somewhere around, I don't know, 10 million pay-per-views, something like that. 10 million pay-per-views. I haven't even done the math on it, but $500 million. And if you could say, oh, well, no, it's not $500 million for that fight. It's a multi-fight deal. It's how much you would make with all of the fights combined. Rumors say that he made $50 million against Jermell Charlo. And I have a little bit of an issue with that one. Where's this other, and say he does it another time and he gets a $50 million for David Benavidez. That's $100 million. Where's the other $400 million coming from? Okay. Now, some people will say, oh, Fanon, you know, some things are so ridiculous you don't have to talk about it. First of all, let me retort. I don't have to talk about anything. However, just because reasonable people can look at these things and say that's ridiculous, doesn't mean that most boxing fans can do that or will do that. You have Forbes magazine that is out there telling all kind of people that people are billionaires that are not billionaires. We were told for several years that Kanye West was a billionaire. The entire time I'm listening to it like, you're tripping. How in the world is this guy a billionaire? Oh, he's a billionaire. He's a billionaire because his stock is valued at this amount of money. Well, that stock is valued at that amount of money. But as soon as he does something that somebody doesn't like, the valuation of his stock and the contracts that he has are all going to go away. That's not real money. That's the potential. If he could liquidate everything everything right now, then he could be a billionaire. But magically, he says some stuff on YouTube and he's no longer a billionaire. You know why that is? Because he never was one. If you literally have the money, really have the money, then that's what you really will be. But anyway, that's just the way that I look at the world. And I said it the entire time. But that doesn't mean that the vast majority of people out there talking every day don't believe it. So that's why you get people that are going to actually try to frame Canelo Alvarez for a duck by saying that this man turned down all kind of money in order not to fight Terence Crawford, and are willing to throw numbers out there that are so lofty that it would make it like it's going to add more pressure to Canelo Alvarez to take the fight. Take example number 2, where Terence Crawford, now this is a little bit closer to home and something Terence Crawford has said. If you look at Terence Crawford retweeted a guy, I'm not even going to say the dude's name because the dude on Twitter is a straight up troll. So that's how I know it's trolling. The dude's a straight up troll. Where Canelo Alvarez, in footage that is grainy, and God dog, how it's got to be some old stuff if you find grainy footage on YouTube. But Canelo Alvarez is quoted as saying, and he says, yeah, I mean, 160, I would consider, yeah, that's a big fight. 160 for Errol Spence. Now, what people will do on YouTube, and they do this a lot, is they don't provide you the time frame in which he said it, the context in which the question was asked, right? Now, what has Canelo Alvarez said recently about Errol Spence in fighting Errol Spence Jr. at a catch weight of 164? He said, no, I'm not doing that. Why would I do that? That is what he said recently, the most recent statement that he made about fighting Errol Spence Jr. at a catch weight. Because when Errol was actually offered, Canelo Alvarez was offered, according to Tom Brown, Errol Spence Jr. as the second or third fight on a multi-fight deal, the one that he eventually turned down, right? He eventually wound up turning these deals down. He wasn't offered a fight with Errol Spence Jr. at 160. He was offered a fight at 164, and he turned it down and said, no, why would I fight Errol Spence Jr. at a catch weight? I'm not coming down to 164 to fight Errol Spence. So what it's saying is not even true. That's not Canelo Alvarez's stance on it. And he said that well before Terence Crawford fought Errol Spence Jr. fought Errol Spence Jr. Well before it, because this was before he actually signed the multi-fight deal, the last deal he had with DAZN, which wound up being the fight with, I do believe the fight with Bivol, the fight with Gennady Golovkin, and then the fight with John Ryder, right? That's what, those 3 fights. It was before then. So the idea that that's his take is just dishonest, man. So look, man, I understand people wanting to see Terence Crawford fight Canelo Alvarez, but man, let's not frame people for ducks. Because, man, you know, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, I guess. But, man, at the end of the day, man, it's going to be a never-ending circle of just just malarkey. Like I put malarkey and shenanigans. No need to do it, man. First of all, Terence Crawford is not going to be fighting Canelo Alvarez because Canelo Alvarez said he didn't want to fight him. And the more nonsense that gets put out there about it is not going to pressure Canelo. It's just going to make Canelo not want to do it even more. If you don't believe me, look at the reaction he had with Demetrius Andrade and how long he refused to fight him and how long he refused to fight Gennady Golovkin, which eventually took place. But believe you me, it was a long time that he was like, no. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.